I gave every coastal province in the world away to one of two nations. The old world of Europe, Asia, Africa, and Oceania are all Croatia, at least the coastal regions are. Croatia has long been known for hogging all of the coasts of the Balkans, so why not let them hog the coasts of the known world? The new world of North and South America is where they will meet their competition, as the long boy of Chile has taken over all the coasts of those continents. With such a spread out nation, these guys will certainly have their difficulties despite their massive development. If you want to see more fun ideas like this, leave a comment with your suggestion below and subscribe to the channel, because we are pushing for 20,000 subs by the new year and we're getting close. I have done some very strange stuff to the 1444 map here in EU4 in my time on this channel, but this may be the weirdest. With the long coast of America having their name up here in Alaska, and the Afro-Eurasian long coast here in wherever this is, Arabia. And this time we actually will leave the natives, because I feel like there should be some interesting ways that they can interact with the Chileans here in the north. And also, to hopefully make things a little more interesting, I went ahead and unlocked expansion and filled it out for both Chile as well as Croatia. So they both have all of expansion, 2 colonists, so they can at least do a little bit of interesting colonization. I'm assuming they're going to have the money, considering the fact that they have quite a lot of tax base, but only time will tell. It's super funny to me how some of these borders look. You get areas like over here in Denmark where it's just all Croatia. And then you have things like this where Scotland is just a 1 province minor inland, as well as a couple of Irish nations. And obviously England is kind of funny shaped. Not as funny shaped as Thuringia though. Thuringia looks remarkably like a penis. All the coasts, and most of the islands as well. The poor Byzantine boys got full annexed by them, and all the way down along the coast, all the way into Ceuta. Ming has also lost Beijing, as well as Canton down here, so mandate may be an issue early on. And I think it's safe to say that Ashikaga is not going to be thriving. I will say Croatia has a lot more development than Chile. Obviously, their coast is a lot longer, but with this undisturbed isolation, Chile might have a really good chance of pulling out. I am curious who you guys are rooting for. Let us know in the comments. But you guys know the drill. We're already on speed 5, and now we just unpause. And after letting that first month tick by, you can see the true girth of these lads. Croatia with 6,500 development, and that is actually one of the reasons why I actually split Chile off. Originally, I wasn't going to, but then I was like, man, they're almost 9,000 development. So yeah, Chile should be fun. I think I kind of like the idea of the East versus West. But yeah, I think I'm going to root for Chile, but I don't think they're going to win. Either way, Ming down to 700, so they lost like 300 development. France all the way down at 250, almost getting passed by Lithuania. Timurids, Muscovy, and Jampur rounding out the bottom 3. Let's let a little bit of time pass and see what happens. Opening moves, Croatia allies Ormond over here in the Emerald Isle, Bohemia, which is a solid choice, I think, and Oirat, because, you know, sure, why not? Also, look at this dude's name. What in the world is this name? We have Great Prince Emilio El Huyar, or however you pronounce that, over here as well, who is Castilian for some reason, even though their culture is Platinian, so might be an issue, but probably not. These guys actually got attacked and are on the defense against a couple of Mexican natives. We're going to see how that goes. Obviously, oh wow, that flag is actually really cool. We're going to see how things go. They clearly have an army, but they have to march their army around through all their land, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. And they are currently colonizing a couple of provinces, as is Croatia, with a couple of their guys on the way. I should also mention that all provinces that have been ceded to these guys is also going to be Catholic, as well as their primary culture. So we have Croatian as well as Platinian over on their respective continents. About 15 years in, and definitely think there are some logistical issues these guys are running into. Croatian Cossacks occupying a very large portion of South as well as Eastern Africa for them. And a whole lot of everything occupying Chile. We've got noble rebels. We also have particularists. Yeah, particularists might make a bit more sense. No breakaway states to be seen as of yet. I haven't seen any separatists, but I could have missed some. But either way, if I spot them, I will make sure to point them out. Needless to say, Croatia can put down their rebels. It's just a matter of will they be able to get them there in time. 180,000 troops is massive, and even Chile with 50,000 is also very impressive. And with the borders being the way they are, you have issues like this where the Mamluks have rebels occupying a ton of their land and they cannot get to it because they don't have an army over there. And likewise, you have wars like this going on where they are beating the tar out of the Ottomans and they only have one army and they're stuck in one of the exclaves. Say what you want, I am always happy to see an Ottomans collapse, but, you know, nothing personal, kid. And I should also mention that they're going to have this EasyGC modifier. It's just a modifier that I added with a little mod that I keep. Basically, it's just to allow them to be big and not just collapse because their governing capacity is too high. I know some people probably want them to collapse, and I get it, but at the same time, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the video, making them super, super strong just to fail, right? Otherwise, we just have like a bunch of random provinces that are Croatia conquered by a bunch of different people and or released by rebels. So that is my thought process, but we'll see exactly how things go with this. They still have 250,000 of Croatian peasants, and yeah, doesn't look like it's slowing down any. But they are rocking 352,000 men with a force limit of over 500,000. Likewise, these boys over here across the pond are over 100,000 strong with 150,000 as their force limit. Croatia is certainly still having issues with rebels, especially in the more remote parts of the world. But they're also having some beautiful border changes over here, consolidating a bit of the land in the old Ottomans lands, as well as some stuff up in Italy, but it looks like they've actually lost a province or two. Namely, Roma was ceded back to the Papal States, probably via event. The Reformation is underway, one center up in York, one in Berlin, and one over here in Bavaria. And you can definitely see that Chile has been doing quite a bit of colonization, especially up here in North America. They've also been filling in a couple of provinces over here in Peru, as well as down here in La Plata. Likewise, Croatia has been filling in South Africa, and good old Croatian Australia has been filling in the provinces over here down under. Very interestingly, Croatia decided to go naval hegemon, and they are making very good progress towards it. Gonna get some sailors, blockade efficiency, liberty desire in subjects, artillery damage from the back row, which will be a very good one, war exhaustion, ship trade power, and naval engagement. So, we'll see how that goes. Development numbers continue to go up for Croatia and Chile, no surprise there. But also Ming has gained quite a bit in the 3rd spot. Austria, Poland, France, Muscovy, and Baumanis finishing out the 8th spot with just under 400 development. So quite a bit of development consolidation going on across all of the great powers. Ming's mandate, despite the odds, is actually going up. They don't have Beijing or Canton, but they are still growing. Very good. Croatia is allied to the very powerful Karelia, as well as Circassia, Landshut, 3 Leagues, and Mulhouse. Seems legit. And Chile is allied to these guys over here who have a very sick flag. So here's an interesting bit of change. The HRE has not passed a single reform, is absolutely in shambles, and is looking to elect Spain to be the next emperor. So that's a thing. The Reformation continues to just rampage across mostly Germany, but also Poland taking quite a bit of the brunt. But yeah, funnily enough, Spain formed, even though they don't have a single coastal province, they cannot go colonial, they still formed. And Croatia has been very aggressive, taking over tons of lands in Anatolia, the Balkans, as well as into Arabia. Chile is no longer Chile, they are actually La Plata, and they continue to prioritize the American East Coast, getting all the way up into Canada, taking tons of lands over here, pushing back the natives as they can. Croatia also continues to colonize South Africa, as well as working their way into the Congo. And the best name placement of the day goes to Croatia, with the C in Taiwan and the A over here in Okinawa. Croatia is really starting to run away with it, with 7,100 of their own development, and they also do have some subjects. We'll take a look at that in a second. La Plata with almost 2,100, half of that with the Ming, and Poland, who is quite strong, followed by the Timurids, Baumanis, France, and then Austria. Poland did take the personal union over Lithuania and has expanded quite a bit into Russia as well as the Tartary steppes. Sadly, it looks like my beloved Slovaks are going to get integrated into the Polish realm. Now, Croatia's only subject is their colonial vassal, but funnily enough, it looks like, I think this was Denmark. I have no idea how Landshut got these lands up here in Scandinavia. It just says liberated from enemy occupation, Swedish particularists. So yeah, that's a thing. There's a Bavarian tag that just has lands in Scandinavia because reasons. Also, how about a one province minor Novgorod and Ladoga in 1556? That's pretty good. Also, that unit model is dope. Boy. Farther east, the Timurids continue to dominate over in their area, and the Ming continues to dominate in theirs. No surprise, we have a big Bengal, but without coasts, they don't really have the trade that they normally would, so we'll see how they manage that. But Baumanis is massive. They've eaten up most of VJ just being a 1 or 2 province minor there in southern India. Ethiopia doing pretty good over here in the Horn of Africa, getting most of the Horn of Africa all the way up into Nubia. Over in West Africa, I'm pretty sure the borders are like 1444, except for maybe Kong getting a couple of provinces from Ashanti. Not really sure what has changed, if anything, but we can never forget about the homies. Aside from that, there's quite a bit of border war going on over in the HRE, but that's obviously nothing that we don't expect by now. But still, not really anything going on outside of Austria Poland, and France. Those are the major powers. Well, of course, the major powers that aren't purple, like Croatia, right? Now, it's not really surprising, but you would think that with 500,000 men in the field, Croatia would have a better time handling their particularist rebels, but no dice. They have lots of occupations. It's definitely hurting their economy, but not enough to really put a wrench in, their plans. Borders in Arabia continue to clean up, as well as the borders over here in Eastern Africa. Their name placement is even better than it was before. And we have a U over here, right next to Ming China, apparently, because as per usual, Ming has collapsed, Shun has popped out of the north, and we have a couple of smaller Tangs in central China as well as in the southern parts. It's something that I personally like to see. It looks like Bengal has been smashed, but only by another foe. Baumanis tends to also pop off in these videos, and today is no exception, my friends. But that is assuming that they can handle this final boss of India, the Mughals, a very, very terrifying tag when they are strong. Somehow QQ is all the way out here into Central Asia because reasons. We have a one province minor here of Syria in Haleb. Oh my goodness, and Austria has been absolutely dismantled.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Pope Man has been reintegrated into the Croatian nation, and northern Germany, despite having lots of occupations by rebels, is also very Croatian. I'm not 100% sure. Compared to the last one, it looks like they may have filled in a little bit more, but La Plata has definitely been slower than Croatia in terms of consolidating lands and colonizing a bit as well. They have definitely eaten up quite a few of the tags over here in Mexico, as well as the Incan natives over here in Peru. But my beloved Muisca continues to thrive over here in the mountains of Colombia. The Reformation, though it is over, was very strong, and Catholic has absolutely collapsed in terms of power, but obviously Croatia being Catholic helps out quite a bit. The Catholic faith is definitely being spread over here in the New World. No surprise, most of it is uncolonized. And Croatia seemingly has not lost a war. They are still the naval hegemon with a fully stacked up bonus. How sick is this though? QQ in the number 8 spot. I did not know that was even possible. And even cooler is Ayutthaya in the 7th spot, though their development is pretty low. So yeah, I think not having coast is not really allowing people to thrive because nobody is colonizing. Of course, outside of these two guys. It's just so funny to me that La Plata's name has been up here, and when it was Chile, it was also still up here in Alaska. But look at this Croatia. What is this name placement, bro? First it was over here, then it was like over here, and now, oh my gosh. It's definitely not the worst that I've ever seen, but my God, it's got to be one of them. And with 100 years left in the game, borders are starting to actually clean up quite a bit, and I am happy to see it. La Plata, no surprise, continues their domination of Southern and Northern America, in many places even reaching the interior parts of America, making their way well up into what I think is like Kansas and that area over there. There's a couple of native federations that are pretty beefy, but I wouldn't really be too worried about it considering the fact that absolutism is here, and they could probably annex them in just 1 or 2 short wars. I think it's hilarious that Offaly has taken over the land of these other guys here in Ireland, but hasn't been touched by Croatia. Neither has these guys or these guys over here. The British Isles, except for these 2 provinces, look exactly the same as they did in 1444. Though things in Europe as a whole are looking quite different. France has made a huge push over here into Germany, conquering tons of land over in central Germany as well as southern Germany, and Bavaria conquering most of the land in Bavaria, but they do have a local competitor over here in Florence. It is sad, but Florence used to be like all of this development over here, and they just got absolutely bonked by the French in a big war just a few short years ago. Of course, we have the Polska Gorum, or however that's pronounced, going on over here, with Poland eating up most of the land, so much so that they get their own little exclave over here called the Polish Eastern Europe, though it goes a little bit farther than just Eastern Europe. In fact, they also have most of the land in modern-day Iraq and a large portion of like Azerbaijan and these areas over here. So yeah, Poland is doing pretty dang good. Good enough, in fact, to be the number 4 great power, looking extremely strong, but nothing compared to Croatia, La Plata, or even a massive Mughals. Baumanis has lost a large chunk of development to the Mughals, but is still in the number 6 spot right underneath France, with Ayutthaya and a newcomer, Spain, following them. The Croatian East Indies continues to grow, and it looks like they've taken quite a bit of provinces over in China, though the Mughals tend to be the guys that I think are the regional power, considering especially that they've taken most of India, well, at least a lot of India, and a very large portion of the development in China. As I said, Baumanis has definitely been minimized in size. They used to be much stronger, but they have migrated a bit over into China, but for how long? Hard to tell. Super funny to see VJ down here. They've been down here in these two provinces for, again, hundreds of years, and Baumanis is just kind of leaving them to it. However, the Croatian conquests of Central and Eastern Africa continue to progress as predicted. The Mams are just 3 provinces over here in Egypt. Very sad for them. A man may have lost his land, but at least he's got his crocodile. And somehow Syria continues to hold out over here in Haleb, even building up something with a big, strong fort, so maybe they're just kind of getting overlooked by the Croatians. I do regret to inform you that Muisca has indeed been annexed by La Plata. F in the chat from Muisca. But I think it's pretty clear that Croatia is going to finish in the number 1 spot. But who do you guys think is going to be 2, 3, and 4? La Plata, Mughals, and Poland have it right now, but it looks like it's anybody's game at this point. Once again, we say hello to our old friend 1821, and La Plata's name placement has gotten quite a bit better. Croatia's, not so much. British Isles look exactly the same as they did before, which is super funny considering the fact that Croatia at any point could full annex basically all of them without any hassle. France managed to have the game of their life, even taking quite a few provinces from Croatia in the north as well as over into Italy. Serbia and Naples holding very still, trying not to be seen by the Croatian armies, as well as Mecklenburg, Goslar, and Trier down here. Kind of funny that Trier finished in Cologne, so that's a thing, I guess. The Poles ended up having the game of their life, but they couldn't form the Commonwealth because they didn't control Danzig. Tragic. And the Mughals having an incredible game, but being held back by the purple tide that is their coasts. Very funny. They expanded everywhere except for into Croatia. They put quite the squeeze on Baumanis, who is just 4 provinces down here in the south of Italy, and it looks like Croatia actually took quite a few provinces down here as well. They did their best to finish up with the Spice Islands in Indonesia. Obviously, they already started with most of the provinces, but a few little OPMs that were inland did exist, and a few still do even today. You got Western Croatian Australia and Eastern Croatian Australia, both looking quite good. And despite Ashikaga uniting all of the daimyos that they did have, it doesn't look like anything changed border-wise over here except for Ashikaga. La Plata managed to get quite a bit of the land in South America, but it really is Central and North America where they really shined. Basically, all of the natives that were left are gone. We've got a couple up there in Canada, but all of the tags from America are gone, reduced to atoms, integrated into the greater La Plata. The Sahel and Guinea regions have mostly been taken over by Croatia, with Kong and Air hanging in for dear life, but probably not for long if we were to let the game run a little bit more. And the Mamluks had a bit of a comeback, going from 3 provinces up to 12. There is no Kiel Canal, and there is also no Suez Canal, and alas, there is no Panama Canal either. Hilariously, Florence migrated from Florence all the way up into Austria and Bavaria. I don't know how they did it, but I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to admire it and laugh about it. Korchin hanging out over here, a tributary of the Mughals, is indeed a stateless society. And by the way, speaking of stateless societies, I think I want to do a video where the entire world is stateless societies. What do you guys think about that? Make sure you let me know in the comments below. The religious map mode of Europe is all Catholic except for Protestant, where the French land, and Mecklenburg, for some reason, is Reformed. Also, we have a based Protestant Serbia, and the majority of Africa is also Catholic, though Coptic Ethiopia had a very solid go at it, converting most of the lands over here, and most of it remains. We have Catholics in Australia and New Zealand, as well as the majority of the Spice Islands, Indonesia, and the Philippines. All of the coasts and all of the land that they have conquered has also been converted into Catholic, with Catholic provinces ranging all the way from Korea, snaking all the way over to the Black Sea. Of course, North America is very Catholic, as well as South America, though the only ones that really remain that haven't been converted are either uncolonized lands or lands that the AI just hadn't gotten around to colonizing yet, like totemists up there in America. The culture map mode, as expected, is going to be pretty messy. Platinian is the primary culture of both North and South America, with a couple of the native cultures remaining. The Greeks have been squeezed into just 3 provinces, one Neapolitan province surrounded by Slavs. Of course, we have Croatian South Africa, as well as the entirety of Guinea, but that's just from 1444. Sadly, looking at it, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of crazy culture stuff, but you know, you can't win them all. I'm sure you guys want to see the great powers, so Croatia finishing the number 1 spot with almost 10,000 development, followed by La Plata at 4,600 and Mughals at 38. So if you guys had La Plata, Mughals, and Poland for your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place picks, make sure you claim it in the comments below. I'm going to give you a cookie. In the 5th spot, though, we have Spain, who managed to just basically hold still and not die, with Florence, aka Austria and Bavaria, at 6th place, with Air in 7th place with 276 development, and even Ethiopia, who has fallen from grace very heavily in the 8th spot. Though in a few short months, Ethiopia will probably not be the number 8 spot anymore. Same as last time, economic hegemon is fully stacked for Croatia, and naval hegemon is fully stacked for La Plata. Croatia has the most max manpower in the world at 625,000, as well as the most armies in the world with 1.63 million troops, followed extremely closely by almost 1.5 million for La Plata. Even the Mughals have over 1 million troops, so 3 1 million army nations, and it's all AI. That is impressive. Best morale in the world, of course, is Air. Everybody knows that, with La Plata and France in the 2nd and 3rd place. And La Plata has the most discipline in the world as well. I'm sure that taking defensive as well as eco-offensive helped out with those numbers. If you guys did enjoy that video, make sure you let us know in the comments below, and as well as leave a like if you appreciated it, because I want to know what you guys enjoy seeing. If you haven't already subscribed, I don't know what I gotta do to get you to subscribe. Click the button and ding the bell so you get notified when we upload new videos. If you want early access to these videos, the wonderful people who support me on Patreon did. You can check that out, linked in the description below. And if you want to join my cool community in my Discord, my subreddit, or my Twitter, they are also all linked in the description below the video. That is all I've got for you for this one. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful day. And until next time, stay chill.